1941, the moment Germany launched Operation Barbarossa, everything changed. Germany believed the Eastern Front would collapse quickly under the weight of its lightning attacks, but the reality waiting inside the vast Soviet Union was far different and far more brutal. Germany began the invasion with unmatched confidence, relying on speed, surprise, and overwhelming force, yet it underestimated the one enemy it could never truly defeat: the endless space of the East. 1941, as German soldiers pushed deeper, they realized the Soviet Union was not a nation that would fall in weeks. The Red Army, despite losing hundreds of thousands of men in the early months, kept forming new defensive lines, creating new armies, and sending waves of reinforcements from the interior. Germany expected a quick knockout blow, but instead found itself trapped in a war of exhaustion, one it was not prepared to fight. 1941, the logistical nightmare began to show. Trains could not keep up, trucks broke down on impossible roads, and supplies collapsed under the weight of distance. Ammunition, fuel, and food ran low as the front lines stretched farther and farther east. Every kilometer made the German army weaker, while the Soviet defense grew stronger. 1941, as the autumn rains turned the roads into oceans of mud, the German advance slowed to a crawl. Tanks sank, soldiers struggled, horses died, and entire divisions were stuck helplessly in the mire. The Soviet Union used this moment to regroup, reorganize, and prepare for the winter that Germany never expected. 1941, when the winter finally arrived, it crushed the German army like a wall of ice. Temperatures dropped so low that weapons jammed, engines froze, soldiers suffered without proper clothing, and frostbite spread through the ranks, while the Soviets, wearing winter gear, launched fierce counterattacks, pushing the Germans back from Moscow. Germany realized too late that it had walked into a frozen battlefield designed to destroy invaders. 1942, Germany tried to regain momentum by launching new offensives, especially toward the south, but every attempt stretched the army thinner. The Soviets could replace losses, Germany could not. Every German tank destroyed was a painful blow, but every Soviet tank destroyed was replaced by two more. The balance of power slowly shifted against Germany. 1942, the vast industrial strength of the Soviet Union, powered by factories, moved deep into the east, gave the Red Army a massive advantage. Germany faced a war machine that could not be bombed, destroyed, or exhausted. No matter how many battles it won, the Soviet Union kept rising again and again. 1942, as the fighting reached cities and rivers, the German army discovered that Soviet resistance only grew stronger in urban warfare. Places like Stalingrad turned into brutal landscapes where every building became a fortress, every street became a graveyard. The Germans fought with desperation, but the Soviets fought with a purpose that could not be broken. 1943, the turning point arrived with the surrender at Stalingrad. The German Sixth Army, encircled, exhausted, and cut off, finally collapsed. This one defeat shattered the myth of German invincibility and proved that the Eastern Front was a battlefield Germany could not dominate anymore. 1943, when Germany attempted a final massive offensive at Kursk, hoping to regain the initiative, the Soviets were ready. Huge defensive lines, minefields, and anti-tank guns created a wall of fire that even the best German tanks could not break through. After Kursk, Germany lost the last chance to turn the war around. 1943, from that moment, the Soviets pushed forward with unstoppable force. Every month, the Red Army grew stronger while Germany grew weaker. The Eastern Front had turned into a tide that Germany could no longer resist. 1944, the Soviet offensives crushed entire German armies, driving them back across thousands of kilometers. Soviet tanks rolled through territories Germany once captured, and cities fell one after another. Germany now fought only to delay the inevitable defeat. 1945, as the Red Army closed in on Berlin, Germany could no longer hide from the truth. The Eastern Front was lost because Germany never understood the scale, the endurance, and the unforgiving nature of the Soviet Union. It faced an enemy that could not be intimidated, starved, or broken, an enemy that turned every setback into greater strength. 1945, in the final days, as Berlin fell, Germany realized why it could never win the Eastern Front. The land was too vast, the winters too brutal, the Soviet industry too powerful, and the people too determined. Germany entered the East thinking it could win quickly, but instead it was trapped in a war designed to consume it until nothing remained.